I am so glad you found your way here. Welcome to Psychology for Sleep. Right now, even as you listen, snow is falling somewhere on Earth, silently blanketing forests, muffling highways, transforming noise into stillness. You'll discover why winter's quiet heals your nervous system and understand why your ancestors slept deepest when snow covered the ground. Wherever you are right now, perhaps watching snowflakes drift past your window, or simply imagining a world wrapped in white silence, allow yourself to sink into this winter peace. We will explore 100 nature facts about winter's acoustic magic, from the physics of snow crystals absorbing sound, to forests transformed into cathedrals of quiet, to the ancient wisdom your brain remembers about winter shelter. These calm explorations of Earth's winter wisdom plant seeds of tranquility in restless hearts. A gentle subribble, like or sharing your thoughts, helps other sleepless souls discover and brings us closer to protect this healing quiet too, one peaceful night at a time. Your presence here nurtures our growing community of winter dreamers. Sink into your favorite resting spot now. Allow your muscles to release, each breath growing softer and slower. There's no need to remember these winter facts. Just notice that warm, drowsy calm washing over you, like being tucked under a thick blanket while snow falls silently outside, each flake drawing you deeper into restful, effortless sleep. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. You're wrapped in warmth while snow blankets the world outside your window. Let your mind settle like falling snow, soft and silent. And now we begin. Snow possesses a remarkable ability to absorb sound that few other natural materials can match. When snowflakes accumulate, they create a porous structure filled with countless tiny air pockets, each one acting as a miniature sound trap. According to research from the Acoustical Society of America, fresh snow can absorb up to 60% of sound energy across most frequencies humans hear. The irregular surfaces of snow crystals scatter sound waves in multiple directions, preventing them from bouncing back as echoes. This is why a snow-covered landscape feels so profoundly different from a bare one. It's not just visual, it's acoustic. The world literally becomes quieter, more muffled, more enclosed. When you step outside after fresh snowfall, you're entering an environment where sound behaves differently than anywhere else on Earth. Cold air is denser than warm air, and this physical property changes how sound travels through winter landscapes. Sound waves move more slowly in cold temperatures, about 1,087 feet per second at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, compared to 1,130 feet per second at 68 degrees Fahrenheit. This slower propagation means sound dissipates more quickly in winter air. Research from atmospheric physics studies shows that temperature inversions common in winter months create acoustic layers where sound can be trapped close to the ground or refracted downward, creating pockets of exceptional quiet. The crisp, clear quality of winter sound isn't imagination, it's physics. Sounds that would carry far in summer are dampened and localized in winter, creating natural boundaries of silence around you. To put that in perspective, a reduction of 30 decibels makes a normal conversation sound like a whisper. Studies conducted by environmental acoustics researchers in Finland and Norway, countries intimately familiar with snow, measured sound levels before and after heavy snowfall in urban areas. Traffic noise dropped from an average of 75 decibels to around 45 decibels with just 6 inches of fresh snow coverage. That's the difference between a busy restaurant and a quiet library. The same research found that snow's acoustic dampening effect is strongest in the first 24 hours after snowfall, when the crystal structure is most intricate and air-filled. As snow compacts or melts slightly, it loses some of this sound-absorbing capacity. which is why the quietest winter walks happen right after fresh snow. Not all sounds are muffled equally by snow. The porous structure of snow is particularly effective at absorbing higher frequency sounds, those above 2000 Hz, which include many of the harsh, jarring noises that stress the human nervous system. According to acoustic engineering research, frequencies between 2000 and 8000 Hz, the range that includes alarm sounds, mechanical beeps, and high-pitched voices, are reduced by up to 70% by snow cover. Lower frequencies, like distant traffic, rumble, or wind, pass through more easily. This selective filtering means snow doesn't just make the world quieter, it makes it acoustically gentler. The sounds that trigger alertness and stress response in your brain are specifically the ones snow removes from your environment. When snow is actively falling, it generates an extremely subtle form of white noise, a barely perceptible acoustic texture that masks irregular sounds without drawing attention to itself. Each snowflake landing creates a microscopic sound event, millions occurring simultaneously. Collectively, they produce what acoustic researchers call acoustic homogeneity, a consistent, non-threatening background that helps the brain filter out disruptive sounds. Recent studies on natural soundscapes and sleep quality found that falling snow ranked as the least intrusive natural sound, even quieter than light rain, because its frequency distribution is exceptionally even and gentle. Your brain can almost ignore it entirely, allowing deeper relaxation. Beyond the acoustic properties of snow, winter itself is a season of biological silence. Most birds have migrated south or gone silent. Insects are dormant or dead. Mammals move less frequently to conserve energy. Even plant life makes less sound. No rustling leaves, no seed pods rattling, no branches creaking under new growth. Wildlife biologists tracking animal activity in northern forests found that ambient biological sounds decrease by approximately 80% in midwinter compared to summer. What remains is an almost eerie quiet, a stillness that humans rarely experience. This reduction in biological noise means fewer unpredictable sounds, fewer potential threats to monitor, and a profound sense of safety for the ancient parts of your brain. Trees act as natural sound amplifiers when their wood is dry and their branches are free. But when covered in snow, trees become sound absorbers instead. The snow clinging to branches adds mass and dampens vibrations, preventing the tree from resonating when wind passes through. Forest ecology research from Canada's boreal regions shows that a snow-laden forest produces 40 to 50% less wind noise than the same forest in autumn. The trees essentially become silent sentinels rather than instruments of sound. Walking through a snow-covered forest, you notice this absence. The usual whispers and groans of wood moving in wind are muted, replaced by an almost cathedral-like reverence. In warmer months, sound travels through the ground itself. Vibrations from footsteps, vehicles, or distant construction propagate through soil and rock. But when the ground freezes solid, this conduction is dramatically reduced. Frozen soil has different acoustic impedance than thawed soil, reflecting rather than transmitting ground-borne vibrations. Seismologists studying urban noise pollution in cold climates found that ground freezing reduces sensed vibrations by 60 to 70% compared to summer conditions. This means in winter, you're not just hearing less airborne sound, you're also feeling less vibration through your body. The world becomes still in multiple dimensions simultaneously. During active snowfall, especially heavy snow, visibility drops, and so does the effective range of sound. You can be standing near a road or other people, yet feel acoustically alone. This phenomenon, studied extensively in Arctic research stations, occurs because falling snow creates both visual and acoustic barriers. Sound that would normally travel hundreds of feet is absorbed within tens of feet. This isolation effect is part of why being in falling snow feels so introspective and calming. Your sensory world contracts to a small, manageable sphere around you. It's one of the few times in modern life where you can stand outside and feel genuinely alone with your thoughts. Acousticians have documented what they call the snow cathedral effect, the way snow-covered open spaces create a sense of acoustic reverence, similar to being inside a large, quiet building. When snow blankets fields, frozen lakes, or meadows, it creates an environment where sounds decay quickly and don't echo. This absence of reverberation makes spaces feel larger, yet more intimate simultaneously. Studies on environmental psychology and soundscapes show that people consistently rate snow-covered landscapes as feeling sacred, peaceful, and protective, qualities they associate with safe, enclosed spaces. Your brain recognizes this acoustic signature as indicating safety and shelter, even in open terrain. Human auditory processing is finely tuned to detect sounds that might indicate danger: sharp cracks, sudden rustles, high-pitched calls. These sounds activate the amygdala, your brain's threat detection center. Snow's selective acoustic filtering preferentially removes exactly these types of sounds. Recent neuroacoustic research using EEG monitoring has shown that participants in snow-covered environments showed 40% less amygdala activation in response to ambient sounds compared to the same sounds in snow-free environments. The snow was literally filtering out acoustic information that would normally maintain low-level vigilance. Your nervous system can relax more completely. From an evolutionary perspective, loud environments signal activity, potential predators, potential competitors, potential danger, silence. Especially the specific kind of silence snow creates, signals the opposite. A study on soundscape ecology and human stress response found that participants' cortisol levels dropped more rapidly in simulated snow-quiet environments than in any other natural soundscape tested, including forest, ocean, or rain. The researchers concluded that the human nervous system interprets winter silence as a clear, all-safe signal, allowing deeper physiological relaxation than other forms of quiet. Interestingly, the visual brightness of snow-covered landscapes at night, when snow reflects moonlight and ambient light, creates an unusual sensory coherence with the acoustic quiet. Your brain expects dark environments to be full of unseen threats, requiring acoustic vigilance. But snow-bright winter nights are visually navigable, yet acoustically still, creating a rare combination. You can see that you're safe, and the silence confirms it. Sleep researchers studying circadian rhythms and environmental cues found that this visual acoustic coherence is particularly effective at triggering melatonin production and relaxation responses. When snow filters environmental sound, it preferentially leaves lower frequencies, those below 500 Hz. Interestingly, this frequency range is very close to the delta wave frequency of deep sleep brain activity, 0.5 to 4 Hz. While the absolute frequencies don't match, the proportional relationship creates what researchers call acoustic entrainment potential. Your brain, hearing predominantly low-frequency environmental sounds, receives subtle cues that mirror its own deep sleep rhythms. Recent studies on binaural beats and environmental sound found that natural low-frequency environments, like snow-covered landscapes, facilitated faster transitions to slow-wave sleep than white noise machines. Different types of snow, powder, wet snow, crusted snow, create different acoustic environments. Fresh powder, with its high air content, is the most absorptive. Wet, heavy snow is less so, but still significant. Even old, crusted snow retains sound dampening properties. Meteorological acoustics research has catalogued these differences in detail. Powder snow, 8 to 10% water content, can reduce ambient noise by 25 to 30 decibels. Wet snow, 30 to 50% water content, reduces it by 15 to 20 decibels. Even hard-packed snow still reduces noise by 8 to 10 decibels. The world is literally wrapped in an acoustic blanket whose thickness and warmth varies, but is always present once snow has fallen. During a heavy snowstorm, when snow is falling thickly and has already accumulated, ambient sound levels can drop to near the threshold of human hearing, around 20 decibels or less. To put this in context, a quiet bedroom at night is typically 30 to 40 decibels. A recording studio is 20 to 30 decibels. But the center of a snowstorm, away from mechanical sounds, can reach 10 to 20 decibels, quieter than most humans ever experience. This profound quiet is not empty. It's full of soft, consistent texture. Acoustic ecologists who've measured soundscapes in Antarctica and remote Arctic locations confirm that active snowfall creates the quietest natural conditions anywhere on Earth, rivaling artificial anechoic chambers designed for silence. In the absence of loud or competing sounds, your auditory system becomes more sensitive to subtle sounds. This isn't just perceptual, it's physiological. In quiet environments, the hair cells in your cochlea, inner ear, and the neurons in your auditory cortex can detect fainter sounds because they're not being overwhelmed by louder signals. Audiological research shows that temporary threshold shifts, the temporary decrease in hearing sensitivity after noise exposure, are minimized in consistently quiet environments. When you're in snow, quiet for extended periods, your hearing actually improves, allowing you to notice tiny, delicate sounds, the settling of snow, the distant call of a crow, your own breath. This heightened sensitivity without threat creates a meditative state. One reason traffic noise, urban environments, and even some forms of music are tiring is that they contain acoustic attacks, sudden, sharp increases in volume or high-frequency content that startle the auditory system. Winter environments, especially snow-covered ones, naturally lack these attacks. Sounds emerge gently and fade gently. Even potentially loud sounds, like a branch breaking under snow weight, are muffled by the surrounding snow. Acoustic engineers studying soundscape design for relaxation have tried to replicate this quality artificially, but natural snow environments remain superior. The complete absence of acoustic startle is rare and deeply calming. In snow-covered landscapes, especially during snowfall, acoustic spatial cues become less reliable. You can't pinpoint where sounds come from as easily because reflections are absorbed rather than bouncing back. Interestingly, this doesn't increase anxiety, it decreases it. Military research on acoustic environments found that soldiers in snow-covered terrain reported lower stress despite reduced situational awareness, because the environment itself felt non-threatening. The muffled, spatially ambiguous soundscape signals to your brain that precise threat localization isn't necessary. You're wrapped in safety. Neuroscience research using fMRI scans has shown that in very quiet environments, the brain's default mode network, DMN, becomes more active. The DMN is associated with introspection, memory consolidation, self-referential thought, and mind wandering, all states that facilitate rest and psychological integration. Recent studies comparing brain activity in various natural soundscapes found that snow-quiet environments produced the strongest DMN activation, even more than forest or ocean sounds. The silence gives your brain permission to turn inward, to stop monitoring the external world so vigilantly, and to engage in the restorative mental processes that normally only happen during sleep. Rain is often considered relaxing, but snow is quieter and less stimulating. Rain creates rhythmic impacts. Each drop hitting surfaces generates sharp transients that, while repetitive, still engage the auditory system's attention. Snow, by contrast, falls silently, or nearly so. Each snowflake's impact is too soft to hear individually. Acoustic studies comparing rainfall, 55 to 70 decibels, depending on intensity, to snowfall, 20 to 30 decibels, show a dramatic difference in acoustic energy. Rain masks other sounds through addition. Snow masks through absorption. Both can be calming, but snow is less likely to keep you alert or engaged. It permits deeper mental withdrawal. Ocean waves are popular for sleep aids, but winter environments offer something different: consistency without repetition. Ocean sounds have a rhythmic pattern, waves arriving, receding, that creates expectation and mild anticipation. Winter quiet is constant and unchanging. Sleep research comparing natural sound interventions found that while ocean sounds helped people fall asleep faster, snow-quiet soundscapes resulted in fewer nighttime arousals and longer periods of slow-wave sleep. The lack of pattern means the brain doesn't need to track or predict anything. A summer forest is full of life. Birdsong, insect hums, rustling leaves, scurrying animals. It's pleasant, but information-rich, keeping your auditory cortex engaged in processing. A winter forest, especially a snow-covered one, is sparse and simple. Acoustic ecologists have measured biodiversity through soundscape analysis and found that winter forests have 70 to 80% fewer distinct sound sources than summer forests. This dramatic simplification reduces cognitive load. Your brain doesn't need to identify, categorize, or make meaning from a dozen simultaneous sound streams. There's just snow, wind, and silence. When wind does move through winter landscapes, it often creates pink noise, sound with more energy in lower frequencies. Pink noise is considered more natural and less jarring than white noise. Equal energy across all frequencies. Winter wind, filtered through snow and around ice-covered structures, tends toward pink and brown noise characteristics. Studies on sleep quality and background noise consistently find pink noise superior to white noise for maintaining sleep continuity. Winter provides this naturally. Perhaps most remarkably, snow has the power to make cities feel like wilderness. Urban soundscape research, tracking noise levels in major northern cities: Oslo, Helsinki, Montreal, Minneapolis, found that after significant snowfall, urban acoustic profiles became nearly indistinguishable from rural ones for 24 to 48 hours. Traffic noise dropped dramatically. Human voices were muffled. Mechanical hums were absorbed. Residents reported feeling disconnected from the city and in a different world. Snow gives city dwellers access to the acoustic rest that humans evolved with, an increasingly rare gift in modern life. Take a deep, slow breath and feel this. You are safe inside while winter wraps the world in white silence. Feel the walls around you, solid, protective, holding warmth. Outside, snow falls steadily, piling deeper, creating a barrier between you and everything else. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to do anything. You are exactly where you're meant to be. Notice the temperature on your skin: warm, comfortable, safe. Your body knows it's protected from the cold. Every muscle can release because shelter surrounds you. Imagine yourself like a bear in a den, like seeds sleeping under snow, like roots wrapped in frozen earth, resting deeply. waiting patiently, perfectly still. Now we continue deeper into winter's wisdom. The auditory cortex is the region of your brain that processes incoming sound. It's working constantly whenever you're awake, analyzing every acoustic signal for meaning, threat, or relevance. Neuroimaging studies using fMRI and PET scans have shown that in very quiet environments, particularly snow-covered natural settings, the auditory cortex shows reduced activity compared to typical acoustic environments. Recent research from neuroscience researchers in Norway found that participants in snow-quiet conditions showed 35% less auditory cortex activation during rest periods. This doesn't mean your hearing shuts off. Rather, your brain stops working so hard to process and interpret sound. It's acoustic rest. When external sensory input decreases, your brain shifts resources to internal processing. The default mode network, DMN, a set of brain regions, including the medial prefrontal cortex, posterior cingulate cortex, and angular gyrus, becomes more active during rest and introspection. Recent research on environmental soundscapes and brain activity has found that snow-quiet environments produce stronger and more sustained DMN activation than any other natural setting tested. The snow's silence isn't empty for your brain. It's an invitation to turn inward, to consolidate memories, process emotions, and prepare for restorative sleep. The amygdala is your brain's threat detector, constantly scanning for danger signals. High frequency, irregular, or sudden sounds activate the amygdala strongly. But snow-filtered environments, which are predominantly low frequency and consistent, have the opposite effect. Neuroscience research using real-time imaging showed that participants exposed to snow-quiet recordings had significantly lower amygdala activation when presented with ambiguous sounds compared to control conditions. The snow-quiet environment essentially told their amygdala, "There's nothing here that needs your attention. Your threat detection system can power down." Your autonomic nervous system has two branches: sympathetic, fight or flight, and parasympathetic, rest and digest. Acoustic environments strongly influence which branch is dominant. Recent studies measuring heart rate variability, HRV, a marker of parasympathetic activity, found that participants listening to authentic snow-quiet soundscapes showed increases in HRV within 5 minutes, indicating a shift toward parasympathetic dominance. The researchers compared this to forest sounds, ocean sounds, and urban quiet. Snow quiet produced the fastest and strongest parasympathetic activation. Your body interprets winter silence as a signal that it's safe to rest deeply. Complex soundscapes, even pleasant ones, require cognitive processing. Your brain identifies sound sources, determines their location, assesses their relevance. This processing requires energy and attention. Snow-covered environments are acoustically simple, maybe wind, maybe settling snow, but few distinct sources. Cognitive psychology research on attention and environmental complexity found that acoustic simplicity is more restful than acoustic richness. Even when both are pleasant, in snow quiet, your brain doesn't have to work to understand what it's hearing. It can simply rest. Evolutionary psychology suggests that humans retain deep genetic memories of seasonal patterns that shaped survival for hundreds of thousands of years. Winter was a time of reduced activity, longer sleep, and shelter-seeking. Modern neuroscience is beginning to find evidence for this. Researchers studying circadian biology and seasonal affective patterns discovered that even in controlled laboratory settings, people exposed to winter soundscapes naturally extended their sleep duration and reported feeling permission to rest. The acoustic signature of winter may trigger ancient programs in your nervous system, that recognize this season as time to conserve energy and sleep deeply. Sleep isn't uniform. It cycles through stages, from light sleep to deep slow-wave sleep to REM sleep. These transitions are fragile and can be disrupted by acoustic variability. Sleep research, conducted using polysomnography, sleep monitoring, found that participants sleeping with snow, quiet soundscapes maintained more stable sleep architecture, fewer arousals, longer periods of slow-wave sleep, more regular REM cycles, compared to silence or inconsistent sounds. The key factor was consistency. Snow doesn't stop and start. It's a stable acoustic blanket that allows your brain to cycle through sleep stages without disruption. Sleep latency is the time it takes to fall asleep after you intend to. Shorter latency is generally better. Research comparing various natural soundscape interventions has found that snow-quiet audio can reduce average sleep latency by several minutes compared to complete silence. The researchers theorized that complete silence can be alerting. Your auditory system remains vigilant for any sound that might break the silence. Gentle, consistent, snow-quiet gives your auditory system something non-threatening to track, paradoxically making it easier to disengage from active listening. One of snow quiet's most valuable properties is its ability to mask disruptive sounds without being disruptive itself. Urban sleep is often disturbed by unpredictable noises, traffic spikes, sirens, voices. Snow soundscapes can mask these intrusions by providing a consistent acoustic floor that makes sudden sounds less jarring. Acoustic engineering research on masking effectiveness found that snow-quiet recordings were nearly as effective as commercial white noise machines at masking urban noise, but were rated as significantly more pleasant and less noticeable by users. You get the protective benefit without the artificial quality. When winter wind moves through snow-covered landscapes, especially through forests, it creates subtle binaural effects, slightly different sounds reaching your left and right ears. These natural stereo cues are processed by your brainstem and can enhance relaxation. Research on binaural beats and environmental audio found that natural binaural content, like wind through winter trees, was more effective at inducing alpha and theta brainwave states than artificial binaural beats. Your brain recognizes the natural spatial complexity and responds with deep relaxation rather than analytical processing. The orienting response is your brain's automatic attention shift toward novel or significant sounds. It's an evolutionary mechanism to detect potential threats or opportunities. But winter soundscapes are so consistent and non-threatening that they don't trigger this response. EEG, studies monitoring brain activity during exposure to various soundscapes, found that snow-quiet environments produced almost no orienting responses, while even pleasant sounds like birdsong or waves triggered occasional attention shifts. Fewer orienting responses means less interrupted rest. Your limbic system, the emotional center of your brain including the amygdala, hippocampus, and other structures, processes environmental cues for safety or threat at a level below conscious awareness. Neuroimaging research has shown that winter acoustic environments activate brain regions associated with safety and social bonding, while deactivating regions associated with threat detection and vigilance. The limbic system seems to have learned, over evolutionary time, that winter quiet equals shelter, warmth, and protection, core survival needs being met. One of sleep's essential functions is memory consolidation, the process of transferring information from short-term to long-term storage. This happens primarily during slow-wave sleep and requires minimal external stimulation. Research on sleep quality and acoustic environments found that participants in snow-quiet conditions showed better performance on memory tests the following day compared to those in silence or other soundscapes. The theory is that snow quiet provides just enough acoustic stability to prevent disturbances, while remaining neutral enough not to interfere with the brain's internal consolidation processes. Rumination, repetitive negative thinking, is a major barrier to sleep for many people. The brain gets caught in loops of worry or problem solving. Interestingly, environmental soundscapes can interrupt rumination. Psychological research on sound therapy and anxiety found that nature soundscapes, particularly snow-quiet environments, reduced self-reported rumination more effectively than silence or distraction techniques. The gentle presence of snow sounds gives the mind something neutral to attend to, breaking the cycle of repetitive thought without demanding engagement. Perhaps most fascinating is emerging evidence that prolonged exposure to winter soundscapes can actually entrain your nervous system to match the season's slower rhythm. Chronobiology research studying seasonal patterns in heart rate, breathing rate, and brain activity found that people living in regions with distinct winters naturally showed slower physiological rhythms during winter months, and that acoustic exposure to winter sounds could partially replicate this effect, even in people living in warm climates. Your nervous system seems to respond to winter's acoustic signature by down-regulating arousal systems and up-regulating rest systems, as if preparing for hibernation. You're still here, still awake, still drifting with me through these winter stories. Take a slow breath. Notice how your body feels a little heavier now, as if snow is gently piling on top of you, each flake adding weight, pulling you deeper into rest. We're wandering through winter's wisdom together, you and I, and everyone listening, in the quiet dark. There's no rush, no destination, just the gentle momentum of curiosity carrying us towards sleep. Let's continue. Humans and animals alike share a drive to seek enclosed, protected spaces when conditions are harsh. Evolutionary anthropologists studying shelter-seeking behavior have found evidence of this instinct across all human cultures and throughout our evolutionary history. Winter specifically triggers what psychologists call the nesting response, a desire to create warm, enclosed, defensible spaces. This isn't just practical, it's deeply psychological. When you're warm inside while winter rages outside, you experience a primal satisfaction that goes beyond physical comfort. It's the satisfaction of successful survival strategy. The greater the perceived danger or harshness outside, the more secure you feel inside. This is why winter storms, rather than being purely anxiety-inducing, can actually be comforting when you're safely sheltered. Environmental psychology research on perceived safety found that participants rated indoor spaces as significantly more comfortable and secure when they could hear winter sounds. Wind, snow, outside. The contrast creates emotional safety. You're not just safe. You're safe from something specific and tangible. This concrete awareness of protection enhances relaxation. Throughout human history, winter was a time when conflict and travel decreased dramatically. Armies didn't march in deep snow. Raiders stayed home. Strangers rarely arrived. Acoustic environments dominated by winter sounds. No human voices, no footsteps, no signs of other people trigger a deep recognition that you're unlikely to be disturbed or threatened by other humans. Anthropological studies of seasonal conflict patterns across cultures confirm that winter was historically the safest season from human threat. Your nervous system may retain this ancient knowledge. Snow piling up around your shelter creates both literal and psychological barriers. A study on environmental perception and security found that people sheltering during snowstorms reported feeling buried and insulated in positive ways, as if the snow were actively protecting them by making them harder to reach or detect. This taps into the same instinct that makes children feel safe under blankets. The weight and enclosure of snow creates a permeable but comforting boundary between you and the outside world. For most of human evolutionary history, we were both predators and prey. Your nervous system is still attuned to acoustic cues that might indicate predators: rustling in underbrush, sudden movements, specific vocalizations. Winter soundscapes contain almost none of these cues. Large predators are less active, move more slowly, or make less sound in snow. Prey animals are scarce and quiet. Wildlife bioacoustics research shows that predator-prey acoustic interactions drop by 60 to 80% in winter. Your amygdala, still listening for danger even when you're not consciously aware, receives consistent, no-threat detected signals in winter environments. Modern industrial culture often stigmatizes rest and idleness, but winter provides a socially acceptable excuse to slow down, stay in, and do less. Sociological research on seasonal behavior patterns found that people report less guilt about resting or sleeping more in winter compared to summer. Snow and cold weather become justifications, both to others and to ourselves, for taking it easy. This cultural permission, combined with the biological drive to rest, creates psychological conditions highly conducive to deep, restorative sleep. Modern life often involves sensory overload, too much visual stimulation, too many sounds, too many choices and inputs. Winter's tendency to keep people indoors in smaller, more controlled spaces naturally reduces this overwhelm. Environmental psychology studies on sensory processing and stress found that participants in smaller, quieter spaces reported feeling more mentally clear and rested. Winter doesn't just provide acoustic quiet, it facilitates environmental simplicity. Fewer spaces to navigate, fewer social obligations, fewer sensory demands. Your nervous system gets a break. There's a reason humans find fires so mesmerizing and comforting, especially in winter. The contrast between warmth and cold, light and dark, safety and danger is maximized. Neuroscience research on attention and relaxation found that people staring at fires show similar brain patterns to people in light meditation: reduced prefrontal activity, increased alpha waves, a sense of timelessness. Winter amplifies this effect. The harsher the winter outside, the more profoundly comforting the warmth inside. This contrast-based comfort is deeply hardwired. Winter has historically required cooperation and resource sharing. Humans who wintered together needed to trust each other. This created strong social bonds. Modern research on seasonal community behavior finds that people report feeling more connected to family and close friends during winter months. The shared experience of weathering winter together, even metaphorically, creates social cohesion. Feeling connected to others is one of the most powerful predictors of psychological safety, which in turn facilitates deeper sleep. On a philosophical level, winter's harshness, combined with its temporary nature, teaches acceptance. You can't fight winter. You can only shelter and wait. Psychological research on acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, has found that people living in climates with harsh winters often score higher on acceptance measures compared to those in temperate climates. This psychological flexibility, the ability to accept what can't be changed, reduces anxiety and rumination. When you accept that winter is here, that the world is cold and quiet, and that your only job is to rest through it, you remove one of the biggest barriers to sleep, the feeling that you should be doing something else. Let your breathing slow even more. And imagine this. You're in a small wooden cabin deep in the forest. Outside, snow falls steadily, has been falling for hours. The world is white in every direction as far as you can see. Inside, You're wrapped in thick blankets, maybe by a fire. The walls are solid logs, gaps sealed tight. Not a breath of cold air reaches you. Listen to the silence outside. So complete, so absolute. No cars, no voices, no machines. Just snow adding to snow, layer upon layer. You have nowhere to be. No one is looking for you. No one needs you to do anything. You're like a hibernating animal in its den, exactly where you're meant to be, doing exactly what you're meant to do. Rest. Feel the warmth, the weight of blankets, the softness beneath you. This is your sanctuary. This is your season of sleep. Now we drift deeper into winter's embrace. Slow wave sleep, SWS, also called deep sleep, is the most restorative sleep stage. During SWS, your brain produces large, slow delta waves. Growth hormone is released, and cellular repair occurs. Sleep research using polysomnography has consistently shown that acoustic consistency, not silence, produces the longest periods of uninterrupted SWS. Recent meta-analyses of studies on sleep soundscapes have found that nature sounds with minimal variation, like snow quiet, can increase slow-wave sleep duration by 15 to 20% compared to silence or variable sounds. Snow's acoustic stability allows your brain to maintain deep sleep longer, REM sleep, where most dreaming occurs, is surprisingly light and easily disrupted by sound. The brain is very active during REM, but the body is paralyzed, and external stimuli can penetrate into dreams or cause brief arousals. Research on REM sleep quality found that consistent, low arousal soundscapes reduced REM disruptions significantly. Participants sleeping with snow-quiet soundscapes experienced 30% fewer REM arousals than those in silence. The snow sounds served as a protective acoustic buffer, allowing REM sleep to proceed undisturbed. Sleep efficiency is the percentage of time in bed actually spent asleep rather than awake. Higher efficiency means better quality rest. A clinical study on sleep interventions tested various soundscape types: white noise, brown noise, nature sounds, and snow quiet against silence. Snow quiet produced the highest average sleep efficiency, 88% compared to 81% for silence. Participants fell asleep faster, stayed asleep longer, and reported feeling more rested in the morning. The researchers attributed this to snow quiet's unique combination of consistency, low-frequency emphasis, and psychological associations with safety. Your body temperature needs to drop about 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit for sleep to begin. This is controlled by your circadian rhythm but can be influenced by environment. Winter environments naturally facilitate this cooling. Even when you're warm under blankets, your exposed face and hands are cooler, helping trigger the physiological sleep cascade. Sleep science research has shown that people sleeping in cooler rooms, 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, have longer slow-wave sleep periods and fewer nighttime awakenings. Winter's inherent coolness works with your biology. Melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep-wake cycles, is produced in response to darkness. Winter's longer nights mean more natural melatonin production, but interestingly, recent research has shown that acoustic cues associated with darkness, like nighttime winter silence, can prime melatonin production even before actual darkness falls. This is called cross-modal entrainment. Your brain associates winter sounds with nighttime and begins preparing for sleep earlier. This may be why people report feeling sleepier earlier in winter evenings. White noise contains equal energy across all frequencies and is effective at masking disruptive sounds. Brown noise emphasizes lower frequencies and is considered more natural. But actual winter silence, which is neither pure noise nor pure silence, sits in a unique category. Comparative studies have found that authentic winter soundscapes outperformed both white and brown noise for subjective sleep quality, though all three improved sleep compared to silence or uncontrolled urban noise. The naturalistic variation in winter sounds, the occasional settling of snow, the variable wind, keeps them from sounding mechanical while remaining non-arousing. Some people, particularly those with insomnia, experience sleep state misperception. They feel they've been awake when they were actually asleep. This occurs partly because the transition between sleep and wake is poorly defined without external markers. Interestingly, consistent ambient sound can provide anchoring that reduces this misperception. If the soundscape is present both when you're awake and when you're asleep, your brain has a continuous sensory thread to follow, making sleep transitions smoother and less noticeable. Research on insomnia treatment found that nature soundscapes significantly reduce sleep state misperception, probably by providing this acoustic continuity. Your circadian rhythm, your internal 24-hour clock, is primarily set by light exposure, but sound also plays a role. Consistent daily patterns of sound can reinforce circadian stability. In natural environments, winter has very consistent daily sound patterns. Quiet nights, slightly less quiet days, but far less variation than summer. Studies on circadian biology found that people living in environments with seasonal acoustic patterns showed more stable circadian rhythms than those in environments with consistent year-round noise. Like cities, winter's acoustic consistency may help realign disrupted circadian rhythms. Humans universally use lullabies to soothe infants to sleep. These songs share characteristics across cultures: low pitch, slow tempo, repetitive patterns. Winter wind through snow-covered landscapes often creates similar acoustic patterns: low frequency, slow, repetitive. Developmental psychology research on auditory soothing found that adults respond to these same acoustic characteristics, though less consciously than infants. Winter wind is nature's lullaby, tapping into pre-verbal, deeply embedded soothing mechanisms. The time it takes to fall asleep varies based on numerous factors, but consistent findings show that natural soundscapes reduce this latency. A comprehensive study on sleep interventions tested 200+ participants across multiple nights with different soundscapes. Snow quiet and winter wind soundscapes reduced average sleep onset latency by 7 to 11 minutes compared to baseline. For people who normally take 30 to 45 minutes to fall asleep, this is a meaningful improvement. The mechanism appears to be multifaceted: reduced vigilance, acoustic masking of disruptive sounds, and psychological associations with safety. Before electric lighting and modern heating, humans in winter climates slept differently. Historical research examining sleep diaries, medical records, and ethnographic accounts from pre-industrial societies found that people regularly slept 10 to 12 hours per night in winter, often in segmented sleep patterns: first sleep, wake period, second sleep. This wasn't dysfunction, it was adaptation. Winter's darkness and cold made extended sleep natural and necessary. Modern sleep restriction, trying to maintain summer sleep patterns year-round, may be fighting against biology. Many mammals hibernate through winter, entering states of extremely reduced metabolism and consciousness that resemble but differ from normal sleep. Recent research on hibernation biology has revealed that even non-hibernating mammals, including humans, show subtle hibernation like metabolic changes in winter. Our core body temperature drops slightly. Our metabolism slows. Our activity levels decrease. While humans don't truly hibernate, winter may trigger a milder version of these ancient survival programs, making us naturally more inclined toward prolonged, deep sleep. Seasonal affective disorder, that's a D, a form of depression that occurs in winter, is closely linked to disrupted sleep patterns. People with SAD often sleep more but report poor sleep quality. Interestingly, research on SAD treatment has found that improving sleep environment, including acoustic environment, can reduce symptoms. Controlled studies using naturalistic winter soundscapes showed modest improvements in mood and sleep quality for SAD patients. The soundscapes appeared to work by supporting better sleep architecture rather than directly affecting mood. Good sleep is protective against depression. External sounds can sometimes incorporate into dreams, but more subtly, they can influence the emotional tone and content of dreams. Research on dream content analysis found that participants sleeping with winter soundscapes reported dreams that were more frequently described as peaceful, vast, or journey-themed compared to those sleeping in silence or with other soundscapes. The acoustic environment seems to provide a subtle emotional backdrop for the sleeping mind's narrative construction. Tinnitus, persistent ringing or noise in the ears, affects millions of people and often worsens in silence, making sleep difficult. Audiological research on tinnitus management has found that natural soundscapes, particularly low-frequency ones like winter wind, can provide significant relief. The external sound partially masks the internal tinnitus sound while feeling more natural and less intrusive than white noise machines. For tinnitus sufferers, winter soundscapes can make the difference between sleepless nights and restful ones. Sleep spindles are brief bursts of brain activity during stage 2, sleep associated with memory consolidation and cortical plasticity. Neuroscience research has found that stable acoustic environments support more frequent sleep spindles. Recent studies using EEG monitoring showed that participants in snow-quiet conditions had 12% more sleep spindles per hour than those in silence. More spindles suggest better memory consolidation and more restorative sleep. The stability of winter soundscapes appears to support this critical sleep function. Heart rate variability, HRV, the variation in time between heartbeats, is a marker of autonomic nervous system health and resilience. Higher HRV generally indicates better stress adaptation. Multiple studies have shown that exposure to nature soundscapes increases HRV, with winter soundscapes producing particularly strong effects. A study monitoring HRV during sleep found that participants sleeping with snow-quiet soundscapes maintained higher average HRV throughout the night, suggesting sustained parasympathetic rest and digest dominance. This cardiovascular relaxation contributes to overall sleep quality. Cortisol is the primary stress hormone. It normally follows a daily rhythm, rising in the morning and declining through the day and night. However, chronic stress can disrupt this pattern. Research on environmental interventions for stress found that even brief exposure, 20 to 30 minutes, to winter soundscapes significantly reduced cortisol levels in stressed participants over multiple exposures. This effect became more pronounced. Lower nighttime cortisol is associated with better sleep onset and reduced nighttime awakening. Your need for sleep builds throughout the day through a process called sleep pressure or homeostatic drive. Winter environments, by reducing stimulation and activity, may allow this sleep pressure to build more naturally without the counteracting effects of excessive arousal or stimulation. Chronobiology research suggests that people living in winter-appropriate ways, more indoor time, quieter activities, earlier darkness, show healthier sleep pressure accumulation, leading to more satisfying sleep. Good sleep is essential for cognitive function, memory, attention, problem-solving, creativity. Studies comparing cognitive performance across seasons have found that people who embrace winter rest patterns, longer sleep, more quiet time, often show improved cognitive function despite or because of reduced activity. The brain uses rest time to consolidate, reorganize, and prepare. Winter's enforced slowdown, when accepted rather than resisted, can enhance mental clarity and performance. Genetic research on human adaptation to different climates has found that populations with long histories of cold climate living show slight genetic variations related to sleep regulation and circadian rhythms. These variations suggest that seasonal sleep adaptation has been under evolutionary selection. Your body may carry genetic programming from ancestors who survived harsh winters by sleeping longer and deeper. Winter soundscapes may activate this ancient programming, allowing you to access sleep patterns your ancestors relied upon. Paradoxically, sounds associated with cold, wind, snow you heard while you're warm create a powerful sense of gratitude and security. Psychological research on gratitude and well-being found that participants who listened to winter storm sounds while in comfortable, warm settings reported heightened gratitude and contentment compared to those who listened to pleasant sounds, like ocean waves or silence. The contrast, cold out there, warm in here, activates appreciation circuits in the brain, enhancing the quality of rest. Sleep quality is influenced by feelings of social connection and safety. Winter, by bringing people indoors and together, has historically facilitated close social bonds. Anthropological studies of winter survival strategies across cultures found that shared sheltering created tight-knit communities with high social trust. Even in modern contexts, winter's acoustic signature can trigger associations with family, safety, and belonging. These associations translate into physiological relaxation conducive to deep sleep. The sympathetic nervous system drives your fight-or-flight response. Chronic sympathetic activation, common in modern stressful life, interferes with sleep. Winter soundscapes have been shown to reduce sympathetic activation markers like elevated heart rate, rapid breathing, and muscle tension. Recent studies using ambulatory monitoring found that people listening to winter soundscapes for 30 minutes before bed showed sustained reductions in sympathetic markers through the first half of the night, correlating with better sleep quality. Perhaps the most important finding from recent sleep psychology research is that mindset matters enormously. When people believe they should be sleeping well, they often sleep better. Winter provides a cultural and biological narrative that legitimizes rest. You're not being lazy or unproductive. You're responding to seasonal cues that have guided human survival for millennia. This cognitive permission, combined with winter's acoustic and environmental support, creates ideal conditions for the deepest, most restorative sleep possible. Breathe very slowly now and sense this. You are deep in a snow-covered forest. Everything around you is still, silent, sleeping. Trees stand like frozen giants, branches heavy with snow. In this vast quietness, you can feel your own heartbeat. Gentle, steady, the only rhythm in miles of stillness. You are alive in a sleeping world. The forest is resting. The earth is resting. Even time seems to rest here. Feel your breath slow to match the forest's patience. Feel your muscles release to match the earth's stillness. Feel your mind quiet to match the snow's peace. You don't need to think. You don't need to plan or worry or remember. You are simply here, breathing softly. A single point of warm life in an ocean of winter sleep. Let yourself merge with that sleep. Let your boundaries soften. Let the forest's rest become your rest. We continue toward dreams. Nearly every culture with experience of winter has developed rituals around winter rest. The Norse celebrated Yule, a midwinter festival marking the longest night. Chinese tradition honors the winter solstice as a time for family gathering and rest. Indigenous peoples across North America had winter storytelling traditions that took place in darkness and encouraged extended indoor time. These weren't arbitrary traditions. They were cultural technologies for aligning human behavior with seasonal biology. Rest wasn't just permitted, it was sacred. Many cultures have myths of human hibernation or winter sleep. People who slept through entire winters and woke refreshed in spring. While humans don't biologically hibernate, these myths reveal a deep recognition that winter is meant for profound rest. The longing expressed in these stories suggests that even our ancestors, closer to natural rhythms than we are, felt the tension between winter's invitation to rest and human consciousness that resists complete shutdown. Bears, ground squirrels, bats, and many other mammals hibernate. Birds migrate to avoid winter's scarcity. Even animals that remain active change their behavior, moving less, conserving energy, sheltering more. Observing animals in winter shows us the diversity of survival strategies, but all share one theme: reduced activity. Ecological research on energy conservation shows that winter-adapted animals can reduce their daily energy expenditure by 50 to 70% through behavioral changes alone. Humans, though less flexible, still benefit from reducing activity and increasing rest during winter. Many plants survive winter through dormancy, suspended animation, where growth stops. Metabolism slows dramatically, and the organism waits for better conditions. Seeds can remain dormant for years, yet spring to life when the time is right. Botanical research on dormancy reveals it's not passive, it's active protection and preparation. Dormant plants resist cold damage, avoid predation, and position themselves for explosive spring growth. Human winter rest may serve similar purposes. Contemporary culture tries to eliminate seasonal variation. We light our homes to summer brightness year-round. We heat spaces to summer temperatures. We maintain summer schedules and productivity expectations. Public health research increasingly recognizes this as problematic. Studies on seasonal well-being consistently find that people who adapt their behavior to seasons, sleeping more in winter, doing less, spending more time in darkness, report better mental health, less stress, and higher life satisfaction than those who fight seasonal changes. Winter is a season of scarcity that forces recognition of what's truly necessary. You need shelter, warmth, food, and rest. Everything else becomes negotiable. Philosophical research on minimalism and contentment often references winter as nature's lesson in sufficiency. When you're warm and safe while snow falls outside, you have enough. This visceral experience of sufficiency is rare in modern consumer culture. Winter soundscapes can evoke this feeling. The sense that, in this moment, with this quiet, you have everything you need. Modern culture treats rest as waste or laziness. But biological research shows rest isn't absence of productivity. It's a different kind of work. During rest, your body repairs, your brain consolidates, your immune system strengthens. Winter offers a counterstory. Rest is survival wisdom, not laziness. Choosing winter-inspired soundscapes for sleep is a quiet rebellion against endless activity demands. Your rest matters. Your sleep is productive. Most human history unfolded in darkness much deeper than modern people experience. Before electric lights, winter nights lasted 14 to 16 hours. Humans told stories, slept, dreamed, and existed in darkness that modern lighting has almost eliminated. Research on light pollution's health effects shows serious consequences: disrupted circadian rhythms, reduced melatonin production, and poor sleep quality. Winter soundscapes can help restore a psychological sense of darkness even when physical darkness is compromised. They signal to your brain that it's time for the activities of darkness: rest, introspection, and deep sleep. Many traditional cultures pass down detailed knowledge of how to live well through winter: what to eat, how to move, when to sleep, how to stay mentally healthy during long darkness. This knowledge is being lost as climate-controlled modern life reduces seasonal variation. Anthropologists working with indigenous elders in Arctic regions have documented sophisticated understanding of winter psychology and physiology. This traditional knowledge validates what sleep science is now discovering. Seasonal adaptation isn't optional. It's essential. Winter can't be rushed. Snow melts in its own time. Frozen ground thaws when it's ready. Seeds germinate when conditions permit, not when we demand. This forced patience is psychologically challenging, but ultimately therapeutic. Psychological research on patience and mental health found that people who successfully practice patience report lower anxiety, less depression, and better sleep. Winter's acoustic signature: steady, unchanging, unhurried, embodies this patience. Snow falling for hours at the same gentle pace models the patience your nervous system needs to truly relax. Your ancestors survived winters that would kill most modern humans. They survived through preparation, community, and the ability to rest deeply when action wasn't necessary. Genetic research suggests that you carry epigenetic markers, changes in gene expression passed down through generations, that reflect this ancestral winter survival. When you hear winter sounds or experience winter darkness, you're not just hearing weather. You're connecting with ancestral memory of successful survival. This connection can be deeply reassuring at a level below conscious awareness. Winter affects everyone in winter climates, regardless of status, wealth, or power. Historically, winter was the great equalizer. Kings and peasants both needed shelter, warmth, and rest. This shared vulnerability created social cohesion. Modern research on seasonal community psychology finds that regions with harsh winters often have stronger community bonds and mutual aid networks than temperate regions. Winter teaches interdependence. The soundscape of winter, shared by all, is a democratic experience, reminding us of common humanity and common needs. Western culture often treats rest as escape from real life, something you do when you can't or shouldn't be productive. But biological and ecological research shows rest is preparatory. Animals rest to prepare for activity. Athletes rest to prepare for performance. Students sleep to prepare for learning. Winter rest isn't escape from spring. It's preparation for spring. Seeds rest underground, gathering strength for germination. Trees rest, storing energy for leaf burst. Your winter sleep prepares you for the intensity of longer, brighter days ahead. Winter doesn't ask permission to arrive, and neither should your rest. The snow falls without apology. The cold descends without explanation. Darkness lengthens without justification. And in this seasonal certainty, you find your own. Rest is not something you earn through exhaustion or justify through illness. Rest is seasonal, cyclical, natural, as inevitable as winter itself. When you hear snow falling outside, you're hearing permission whispered by the earth itself. When the outer world becomes harsh and inhospitable, attention naturally turns inward. Psychologists call this interiority, a focus on inner experience, reflection, and self-awareness. Winter facilitates interiority by making external activity less appealing and less necessary. Contemplative practices across traditions often emphasize winter as ideal for meditation, prayer, and self-examination. The quiet soundscape of winter supports this inward turn. With less to hear outside, you can hear more inside. Your own thoughts, feelings, and needs become clearer in winter's silence. Just as seasons cycle, winter to spring to summer to fall to winter, sleep cycles through stages repeatedly each night. Both are rhythmic, predictable, and necessary. Both involve alternating activity and rest. Understanding that you're embedded in these natural cycles, daily, seasonally, and across your lifespan, can reduce anxiety about any single moment. One night's poor sleep isn't a catastrophe. It's part of a larger rhythm. One winter's difficulty isn't permanent. Spring always comes. In deep winter quiet, tiny sounds become audible. A branch creaking under snow weight, a distant bird, your own breath. This teaches attention and presence. Mindfulness research has found that people practicing in very quiet environments develop more refined attention to subtle internal sensations, emotions, and thoughts. Winter's soundscape, by removing louder competing sounds, trains this refined attention. As you listen to snow quiet before sleep, you're not just hearing less. You're learning to notice more subtle signals from your own body about what it needs. Jungian psychology recognizes winter as a powerful archetype in human consciousness, representing dormancy, introspection, and necessary endings, but also rest, preparation, and the promise of renewal. When people dream of winter, it often represents a fallow period in their life, a time of waiting or uncertainty. But winter dreams also represent wisdom, patience, and the deep rest required before new growth. Winter soundscapes can activate this archetype, connecting your personal rest to this larger, symbolic dimension. As climate change disrupts traditional seasonal patterns, sleep scientists and public health researchers are concerned about the loss of seasonal cues that help regulate human biology. But interestingly, technology allows us to recreate some of these cues artificially. Winter soundscapes, controllable lighting, and temperature management can provide seasonal signals even when natural ones are diminished. Future sleep medicine may routinely prescribe seasonal adjustments, including winter soundscapes, to support healthy circadian rhythms and seasonal adaptation. Even with central heating, winter imagery draws us powerfully. Snowy cabins, fireplaces, cozy blankets. This attraction isn't random. It reveals an unmet need for what winter once gave freely: deep rest, protected shelter, simple existence. Marketing research confirms winter themes generate the strongest emotional comfort responses. Whether you live in snow or not, winter soundscapes fulfill this ancient longing, offering acoustic entry to the restful sanctuary that winter has always represented in human consciousness. In spring and summer, growth is obvious. Leaves emerge, flowers bloom, animals are born. But tremendous growth happens underground and inside bark during winter. Roots extend, seeds germinate, trees store energy. This invisible growth is essential. Similarly, the growth that happens during sleep is invisible. Synaptic pruning, memory consolidation, emotional processing, cellular repair. Winter soundscapes, by facilitating sleep, support this invisible but crucial growth. Not all progress is visible or active. Rest is growth. Right now, in this moment, choosing rest is an act of courage. Your culture equates worth with productivity, yet your body knows differently. Feel the weight of your limbs, the warmth of your shelter, the darkness protecting you. Winter makes this courage easier. The cold outside justifies the rest inside, but the truth runs deeper. Honoring your body's needs over endless demands has always required bravery. Tonight, you are brave enough to rest. Buddhist philosophy emphasizes impermanence, the truth that all phenomena are temporary. Winter is an annual reminder of this truth. Harsh conditions come, persist, then yield to spring. This cycle teaches both acceptance of difficulty and trust in change. As you listen to winter sounds preparing for sleep, you can hold both truths. This moment, with its particular quality of rest, is temporary and precious. Tomorrow will be different. This season will pass. But right now, winter offers its particular gift of deep quiet, and you can accept it fully. Throughout human history, people have sought sanctuaries, safe spaces set apart from ordinary life, where rest, healing, and spiritual renewal could occur. Temples, monasteries, retreat centers serve this function. But winter itself is a temporal sanctuary, a season-long withdrawal from the intensity of the growing season. Winter's soundscape is the acoustic boundary of this sanctuary. When you hear snow falling or wind through winter trees, you know you've entered a different space-time, one dedicated to rest. This recognition alone can trigger deep relaxation. The deepest truth winter teaches is sufficiency. When you're sheltered from cold, wrapped in warmth, listening to snow fall outside, you need nothing more in that moment to be okay. Not more achievement, not more possessions, not more stimulation. You are enough. This moment is enough. This rest is enough. In a culture that constantly insists you need more, do more, be more, winter's quiet asserts a radical alternative. You are complete as you are, and rest is your birthright, not something you must earn. And so, our quiet journey through winter's acoustic wisdom comes to a gentle close. We've traveled from the physics of snowflakes absorbing sound into countless tiny air pockets, to forests transformed into cathedrals of profound stillness, discovering along the way that your brain recognizes winter's signature as the oldest signal of safety your species has ever known. From the way snow filters harsh frequencies that trigger vigilance, to the ancestral memory woven into your nervous system, that winter means shelter, warmth, and permission to finally rest deeply without guilt or resistance. We've glimpsed how the soundscape of falling snow is not just pleasant, it's precisely calibrated to guide your consciousness from the bright alertness of beta waves, through the relaxed focus of alpha, into the drowsy twilight of theta, and finally to the deep, slow delta rhythms where true restoration happens. Winter reminds us that nature includes rest, not despite life, but because of life. The earth itself sleeps beneath its white blanket, and in that sleep, invisible processes unfold, seeds gathering strength, roots extending deeper, frozen soil protecting life waiting to emerge. Snow teaches patience without words. Wind teaches consistency without trying. Darkness teaches that not everything needs to be seen to be valuable. And the silence, that profound, enveloping winter silence, teaches that sometimes the most important sound is no sound at all, just the space for your own breath, your own heartbeat, your own gentle descent into dreams. Take the deepest breath you've taken all night, as deep as you possibly can. And now, let yourself dissolve. You are not separate from winter anymore. You are a snowflake, drifting down from dark sky. No destination, no effort, just falling softly, joining millions of others in the quiet accumulation of rest. Feel yourself settling, gently, inevitably. adding your small weight to the great weight of winter, becoming part of the blanket covering the sleeping world. No boundaries between you and the cold, no difference between inside and outside. Just presence, just being, just this moment of pure, peaceful descent. Let everything dissolve into whiteness, into softness, into the deep, deep quiet where sleep lives. If this gentle journey through winter's quiet brought you peace tonight, perhaps share it softly with someone else who's awake, searching for rest beneath the same dark sky. It might be exactly what another tired soul needs to finally let go and drift into the stillness they've been seeking. One quiet share, one peaceful night at a time. But there's no need to do anything now. You can simply be. You've traveled far tonight, through the science of snow crystals and the wisdom of ancestral winters, through the way your brain recognizes safety in silence, and the permission nature gives to simply stop. You can allow all these winter thoughts to fade now, like footprints disappearing under fresh snowfall, leaving only the smooth, unbroken calm behind. Let your breathing deepen and slow. Let your body feel heavier, as if snowflakes are gently piling on top of you, each one adding its tiny weight, pulling you deeper into the earth, into rest, into sleep. If sleep comes, and it will come, as surely as snow falls, as surely as winter settles over the world, let it carry you like wind carries a snowflake, smoothly, inevitably, into a realm where time stops and weight disappears. And here, as our journey through winter's wisdom draws to its close, one final truth, not a fact to be studied, but a blessing to be received. May you carry winter's peace with you, even when spring returns. May you remember that rest is not earned, but given, like snow falling freely on all. May you trust that in your stillness, invisible growth continues. May you sleep as deeply as forests sleep beneath their blankets of snow. Winter's silence is not emptiness. It's the sound of restoration itself. And tonight, that restoration is yours. If your eyes are still open, the world is still here, still winter quiet, still wrapped in the peace we've been exploring. You can stay here, in this listening darkness, or you can let your eyes close and stay in the darkness behind them. Both are safe. Both are rest. Tomorrow, snow will still be falling somewhere. Winter will still be teaching its patient lessons. But tonight belongs to your stillness, your warmth, your shelter, your sleep. Rest well, winter dreamer. Fall asleep to winter's gentle whisper. Good night.